America. Hey everybody, welcome back to Graphic Content. I'm your host Ted Kendrick, and today we are talking about Undiscovered Country. This is the newest series from Image Comics. It's written by Scott Snyder and co-written by Charles Soule. You'll know Scott Snyder from his work for DC on books like Batman and Metal, and he's currently writing the Justice League book up through the Justice Doom War. And Charles Soule worked on Superman during the New 52 era, and he wrote Star Wars for Marvel, among many other books. It is drawn by Giuseppe Camuncoli and Gabriele Orlandini. They're co-artists here on this book, and it is an epic start to what is surely going to be a very wild journey. This kind of sets us up into an alternate future. It's about 30 years from now-ish, sometime in the mid-21st century, where the United States has walled itself off from the rest of the world. If that sounds familiar, that's because it is creepily similar to our current political climate. Build the wall, right? So not only did they build the wall on the border, they built the wall around the entire country, so no one has been in and out of the United States. Not the United States, but the abandoned states of America in 30 years now. So there's a team of scientists, archaeologists, translators, and just people going on a plane to the United States for the first time in 3 decades. At the start of the issue, they're going through what is understood to be an invisible force field, and usually ships that breach this force field just splat into the force field before they know it. There's an indication if you made it through, your hair starts kind of tingling and pricking up, sort of like goosebumps on your arms. And when that starts to happen, they realize that they are indeed the first expedition to make it into the United States in 3 decades. Once they get into their airspace, though, there is a missile that shoots them out of the sky and they plummet down to the earth. So that's our intro. Then we kind of flash back and we see how this group of people have really formed together. And in a very similar Snyder Soule fashion, there is a lot of dialogue and exposition in this book. So it's very wordy, very heavy in the description, and just planting us into this world building that honestly that we need for this first issue. So it is very dense in the writing, but that's to be expected for what is essentially a brand new universe that we've never seen before. It can get kind of crowded. The word balloons can get crowded in what is usually very cinematic wide panels, but because of the word balloons and the fact that there's this huge team of characters that have gone into this country, it can be kind of hard at first to differentiate who's who and what they're doing, even though we do flash back to kind of see each character and how they became a part of this expedition. We mainly follow the exploits of a Dr. Graves, who's got a cool blue streak in her hair, and she has been saving people from the effects of the sky virus. It is a chemical that's rained down from plane dusters when they fly across a cityscape and drop down their poison. The only way to miss it is to run for cover. So run under a building. People carry umbrellas because that counts as a roof. And when the dusters come over, it gets violent in terms of who's fighting who to take cover. So Dr. Graves is just looking for a cure for the virus. There's an international organization that gets word from the United States. Somebody sends them a video and says, hey, we have a cure for the sky virus and we want to help you. We're going to give you the exact coordinates. We promise you can come into our airspace and we will give you this cure, but you have to follow our directions to the dot. And so the team's like, great, let's do it. It's worth the risk. Even though no one's succeeded in going in and out of the United States in 30 years, it is worth the risk to cure the insane sky virus. That's kind of the backstory. Once the team gets together, like I said earlier, they're shot down out of space once they get into the United States. And once they survive the wreckage, this was very reminiscent to the Lost TV show for me, where you have a group of people who don't really know each other. They had just met. They are crash landed in an unknown world and kind of forced to work together. Just like Lost, where they're stuck on the island, here we have this group of characters. They're stuck in an entire country, but still a country that is absolutely unknown to them. And it's changed a lot from the United States that we know. It is totally different from the suburban culture that we have here in 2019. This is a world that is a lot more Mad Max. People are using weaponized cars. There's this guy called the Destiny Man who's riding a buffalo, and Destiny Man has his whole sort of horde of followers on various mutated monsters that look kind of like Loch Ness monsters. You've got those, you've got these bison, and they are all basically flooding into the plane crash as soon as they land. It's very obvious that they are enemies. They start attacking the scientists from afar. And as the scientists seek to escape, they are able to make it to a nearby mountain ridge, but there's even more of these sort of, I don't know the right word, they're antagonists. Destiny Man-led people are just attacking main characters from all sides. So they're kind of pulled into this cave once they reach this mountainside, and in the cave there are a tribe of resistance people who are looking for revolution. They're introduced to the team there, and it seems to be the same people who contact them about the cure for the Sky Virus. The video that was sent with the Sky Virus was sent from a man who spoke and looked a lot like the traditional American sort of folk hero Uncle Sam. And you might know Uncle Sam also from being a DC Comics hero in Uncle Sam and the Freedom Fighters of Earth 10, and later integrated into the New Earth history. So it's very similar to that in a way that's like, okay, is this Uncle Sam personified, or is it just a guy named Sam who looks like him leading this resistance force? But it's definitely giving me some Freedom Fighter sort of vibes in that sense. But yep, so it definitely leaves the book open in a very interesting place. I am captivated by this world that Snyder and Soule have introduced us to here. For this first book, there's loads of behind the scenes content too. They've talked about sort of the amount of time it took them to brainstorm this concept, the years of Scott Snyder and Charles Soule meeting at Comic-Cons and going on morning runs together as they brainstorm the idea that eventually became Undiscovered Country, behind the scenes artwork, and sort of their design for the logo creation and cover creation process of this. It's a pretty cool cover. Undiscovered Country, United States is just totally off the map. A lot of really interesting things to like here in this book, and I think it's going to be one of those things that if you're down to commit and read this thing monthly, you're going to be really rewarded with a wild, epic story. Or if you wait for the trade paperback, it's probably going to be easier to digest, because I'm a little worried with how dense the first issue is. That's going to be a bit of a sort of an annoying wait in between issues to figure out, like, I'm probably going to have to go back and reread each one before to really pick up on what's going on. But I didn't really have that issue with Scott Snyder's writing on Batman or anything. Like, I was able to kind of jump in with each issue and remember for the most part where the last one left off. So maybe I'm just worrying for nothing, but oh, my light just kind of dimmed. But yeah, thanks again for watching. This has been Graphic Content. I am your host, Ted Kendrick. You can find me on the Legacies of the DCAU webcomic. I'm the writer there. We've got some upcoming issues coming out really soon. The 12th Level Intellects podcast just came out with its last 52nd episode, but it is going to return bigger than better than ever really soon in 2020. We've got a lot of big plans for the Watchtower Database. You can support us on Patreon and see content a day in advance and give us your coffee money, and we've got various tiers with extra sort of incentive items for you to be a bigger part of our channel and help us do this full time. Check that out. Patreon.com/DCAU Watchtower. We do voting every month, so you can choose what the next Sunday video is going to be. And I just recently narrated the Justice League Dark video, so go check that one out again. I'll be doing a lot more in the future. Oh, yeah, it just keeps getting darker on me. Sorry. So yeah, this has been Graphic Content. Thanks again for watching. I will see you again in 2 weeks from now, where I don't know what we'll be talking about, but you know what? We'll figure that out at the time. I'm gonna go discover what country I live on and see if I can turn these lights back on. Bye.
I think one of the most interesting ideas is that I think I could say that America has been cut off from the rest of the world for about 30 years. And the Americans have devolved into a couple of different cultures. You have some savage cultures and some civilized cultures. What was it like kind of building the contrast between both of those cultures?
There's a big map on the wall of what America looks like now, and we spent a lot of time working through that to try to make it feel and look exactly right, because that's the promise of the book, is like you look at that map and you're like, oh my God, I get it. They're going to go through all these different parts of the United States, and they're all going to be different. So like this kind of, apocalyptic, anarchic zone that they land in originally is far from the only thing you see. There's fully developed societies. There's like, it gets crazier and crazier and crazier as it goes. But it all has a point, it all has a purpose, it all has a plan.